Yeah, and these machines are rusty. We haven't been at it for a couple weeks, but Ballpark Beef is back and better. Third time's a charm. We're up and running, baby. We're gonna talk about some baseball. We're at the All-Star break, so you know some moves are gonna start happening at the deadline. So we're gonna get into it. Nick's gonna bring the juice. He's not drunk, but he should be. Roll that music.
And welcome back to another episode of Ballpark Beef. We have missed you all. It has been a good 2 weeks off. Jimmy celebrated his wedding and his honeymoon. He had a great time. Me and Nick just were at home in New Jersey having a great time. But Jimmy's back and Ballpark Beef is back. So we're going to bring you baseball content, maybe some football. I don't know. There's not much football going on, but we'll talk some football. You know, we always do a little dabble here and there. But a lot of big things here. We're at the All-Star break, so we're kind of going to review our team's standing so far halfway through the season. As far as trades and stuff, we may do some mock trades, something we want to see our team do. And then for football, who really knows? The conversation will move there, and we'll figure it out from there. But welcome back, boys. How you doing? The weekly
Man, that was a
check-in.
long 2 weeks.
It was.
You know, if Jimmy didn't come home for a couple of days last week, it would have felt like I haven't talked to you guys in forever. Good to
True
be
that,
back.
man. Yeah, we got the boys back together once I came back from the honeymoon. Got a little top golf trip in. Hit some sliced balls out into the net and try to hit the little golf ball cart. But hey, man, it's a good day with the boys. I love it.
Good day with
Absolutely,
the
man.
boys.
I mean, your now wife wiped the floor.
Well, good day with the boys and girls because you're damn right you did. Better than me at golf, and not afraid to admit it.
Yeah. But it's been a wonderful 2 weeks. You know, got to celebrate Jimmy, sitting at home, chilling, caught up with the boys after the honeymoon, and now we're back here.
Now we're back here, and we're here to stay. We are here until next February. Like, guys, you got us here for months now. So there's no major life events happening anytime soon. So I don't anticipate any further breaks unless one of us goes on vacation. So you have us for the next around 6
I don't know,
months.
6-7 months.
Yeah. So enjoy it. And, you know, after that 6-7 months, we take a break and we do next season. So enjoy it. We're here to forever. But let's get into some baseball stuff. Nick, kind of give us a recap of the Cardinals.
I think we should go from the worst team to the best team after the first half.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Cardinals.
Let's go, Jimmy. Go ahead.
Cardinals
Last time I checked, my team is half a game ahead of you.
Are you?
Yeah. So let's go. Start
Oh.
talking about those
Okay.
mediocre Mets.
Only because you played one more game than us. If you hadn't played one more game than us, then we'd be all right.
You're still behind.
What's the better
All right.
run differential?
Not
no,
us.
by far.
But last time I checked, being up half a game is a better win percentage. So we're going from worst to best.
Wow. All right, put me on the spot, I guess. Twist my arm. So
Mhm.
the Mets, I'm going to start a little segment. Mets first half season grade. I'm going to give the Mets solid B. It's a solid B. I think the Mets deserve a little bit of credit here. I think they caught some fire. They figured out their identity. They started putting together some runs. Started pitching okay. The bullpen is struggling a little bit. Starting pitching's been good. But the offense has really been moving. I mean, we were putting up like 7 runs a game for a while there for the 2 weeks that I was away. You know, obviously got some stellar Mets leading the way, like freaking what's his name? Jose Iglesias, OMG, just absolute stud. Candelita, as he's also known as in his music career. But the Mets are rolling. I don't know. I think after the start that we had, after Francisco Lindor's shitty start, Pete Alonso's struggling. We'll get into Pete Alonso in the home run derby. That was embarrassing. Pete Alonso's start. Mets really turned a corner. They made this team, you know, worthy of believing in. They kind of convinced the front office not to sell, in my opinion. Pete Alonso trade rumors should be put to bed because we're in contention. We're in the playoffs, baby. If you told me a week into the season, 2 weeks into the season, that we would end up in the playoffs in July, I wouldn't believe you. But we're 4 games over. Not one bit. 3 games over. Sorry, 49-46 at the break, and it's looking green in Queens. I'm talking. We're making the playoffs, baby.
So
You
you're
want to know?
excited about this. You want it. You want to go for it. You guys, you want to buy. You want all
Bro,
that.
I'm in the basement so often with this team. Like I need, like, anytime we have any glimmer of hope, yes, I wanna go all in for it because we don't get this chance. We don't see this often.
You can't win a World Series.
Probably not. Probably not. But I mean, maybe a move here and there, we can compete. I don't know. Like, do I want to tear it down? Are there pieces on this roster that need to go? Yes, absolutely. No hesitation. Jeff McNeil can't be on this team next year unless he's a utility backup player. You know, we can't be playing around with Starling Marte anymore. I don't think he's hurt too often. When he played this year healthy first half, but he's hurt too often. He's not as good when he's injured. There's some glaring holes on this roster, especially with starting pitching next year as well. But like, when you got the chance, you got to go for it. You can't just tear it down when you're in the playoff race. You know that.
Yeah.
If teams that are a handful of games under 500 are going to be buyers. So the Mets can't just be sellers at that point. That's horrible. It's a horrible look.
It's not selling. It's just retooling, getting better for next year, building on what you have right now.
So what does that look like to you?
It's getting rid of some of these shitty pieces.
Like
Jeff McNeil, Starling Marte. Bro, trade Pete as a rental.
No, you can't. That's tearing it down. That's not a reset or whatever you're calling it. That's a hard rebuild. That's if we were 10 games under at this point, and we made everybody and their brother available at the deadline.
Are you guys
such a different
Pete
approach
this offseason though?
We have to now. By competing this year and not having a trade for him, not being able to get rid of him because you're in the playoffs, you can't do that. Send that much to the locker room. You have to now pay him. Or he's just going to get to free agency and he's going to get the best deal that he wants to take. He wants to be a Met. I don't doubt that for a second. But no, he's going to get paid. It's going to be the Mets, or it's going to be the Cubs, or it's going to be somebody else.
Yeah.
I feel the direction that Jonathan is like trying to say that they should go, because the Mets are kind of like in this situation where it's like, do you get rid of the players that you mentioned, like McNeil and Marte now, or do you wait until the offseason and then just do the same thing? Like, Jonathan's trying to do it a little bit earlier. Like, yes, I get you guys are in a spot for the playoffs, but I don't think those guys really change your team being a playoff team or not. I still think that if you get rid of them, if you keep them, the Mets are not going to be able to compete.
What do you mean if we keep them? They're
like, if you don't
core
trade
of
them
the
for yeah, but they're not really that good. Like, what's the difference
No, I'm
between
not.
trading them now, then trading them in the offseason? If we both, well, all three of us kind of agree, it's just going to be the same result whether they make the playoffs or not.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that the value's not there, but I'm saying, like, you can't send that message to a locker room and trade away veteran pieces like that. That's not how playoff team operates. That's not how a team in the playoffs would ever operate. There's no precedent there. Nobody would ever do that. A team that would do that with 10 or 15 games under 500 at the deadline, there's no chance. Like, a run won't really even help them. They'll get to 500 and then still won't make the playoffs because they'll be lagging behind. Point is, like, when you have a team that's built like this, but you're in the playoff race, you can't tear it down. That's just not an option. Yes, it makes sense for next year. Like, we would be better next year because of it. Sure, we would get some younger pieces. We may be able to re-sign some guys that if we traded them away, Pete being one of them. But you just can't send that message. You can't do that.
You want to know what my most shocking thing is about the first half? Is that Lindor's batting over 250.
Came a long way.
He started out at 120 at one point. A little bit.
I'm sorry, but I'm gonna say it, and it's not cap. Lindor's one of the best players in the league. Period. By value, if you look at WAR, if you look at the accumulation of offense and defense, especially at his position, he's one of the best players in the league.
Top what?
He's top 10 he's top 10 in the league.
Top 10
yes.
right now.
Yes.
We're not talking career-wise. We're talking about right now in MLB. Top 10.
Look up top 10 F4 players. I know Francisco Lindor is in there. I'm telling you, like, the value he brings on the glove and the plus offense for his position, he's definitely top 10 in the league.
He's 8th.
Okay,
What's
that's my
F4
point.
again?
Fangraphs WAR.
You said fan
Win,
graphs?
yeah, Fangraphs wins above replacement. So he is that many wins better than a replacement level shortstop.
Oh. He's top 25 in regular WAR.
It's B WAR. I don't
Yeah.
think that accounts for defense as much.
Nah. You know
No.
who? We'll talk about the Yankees later. But
Yeah, I mean, I know we talk a lot of shit about Lindor. You definitely capped saying he's top 10 in the league, but I mean, he is the face of the Mets.
You just gave me the stat that proved my point. How's that cap?
No, I'm not talking about F4. I'm talking about regular WAR.
F4 is regular WAR, bozo.
How?
Anytime they talk about
Both
WAR, it's F4.
combined?
all right, listen. Francisco Lindor is very good. He had a shitty fucking start to the season. He has turned it around though. All right, the dude's hitting 286 in his last 30 days. In his last 15 days, he's hitting fucking 286. Like he's coming to life. He's had slow starts before. Yes, he's not. Francisco Lindor, to me personally, is not a superstar. He's an elite player. I think there's a difference between elite and superstar level, in my opinion. I
Sure.
don't know
Because you're
if you
talking
guys-
about you're talking about 4 or 5 people in the league that you'd call superstars. You're talking about like Judge. You're talking about Soto. You're talking about Otani.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
Betts. Like, of course, no, he's not. He's not like the upper echelon of all the players, but he's top 10 in the league.
No. All right.
That's
Fine.
not to be at. And he's outperforming his contract. You've so many times said over and over again that he's way overpaid. He's almost doubled his yearly value based on WAR.
Listen. I think Francisco Lindor is very good, and I know I cap about him all the time. He plays a very premium position, and he's probably top 3 at that position in the league right now. I'm not saying career-wise, top 3 right now. There's probably 2 guys I would take over him, and they're 2 very good young guns, Gunnar Henderson and Bobby Witt Jr. But outside of that, honestly, off the top of my head, I can't name many people who I would take over him. So, yeah, sure, he's top 3. I think the Mets have like this glimmer of hope. This is what sucks, though, for the Mets. Because we all know they're not going to keep it up. We know this. It's the pitching staff has been unbelievable recently. The starting rotation has been great. And this is without Kodai Senga. So I'm sure Kodai is going to come back soon. What, August, I heard? Maybe? Yeah. So August. So he'll pitch for maybe a month and then in the playoffs a little bit. But the pitching staff is like Sean Manaeo's pitching like he's a number 2 or 3 on most rotations. He's pitching above what he should be doing. Jose Budo, he's one of your starters right now, right?
He's a long man now.
Oh, he's a long man. Okay, I was looking at based on innings, and he had a lot of innings. So I mean, for him being a long man, he's pitching very good right now. I mean, Luis Severino obviously pitching better than last year. Last year was a disaster. Jose Quintana, I thought he would have a 5 ERA. He's 4.1 right now. That's good. Adrian Hauser sucks, but I mean, he's just a fill-in, really. But I mean, the Mets aren't bad. It's just I don't see the rotation holding up. Yes, once Senga comes back, that's a boost. But how much longer is this gonna last? The whole grimace, the whole OMG shit. Like, I don't know. It could last. I don't know. Maybe the Mets found something. Maybe they got something. Maybe they struggled for so long it took them a while, but they got their identity and they figured it out. But I don't know if they can keep it up. They definitely have tools. Like Pete's gonna hit home runs. Lindor is getting back up to what he should be at. Nimmo, I feel like he's on and off, but he's still having a decent year. Like nowadays, a decent year is you hit 250 with 20 bombs. Like you're having a decent year. Jose Iglesias is, I mean, I know he doesn't play every day, but he's a great bench piece / utility guy. Vientos is a lot.
We gotta go back to Nimmo. We gotta go back to Nimmo. Nimmo's having a better year than Lindor and Alonso. Just FYI.
I think so.
And like Nimmo's probably one of the best players on the team. And the fact that we can talk about All-Star snubs, you want to talk about All-Star snubs? Nimmo and Lindor at the top of that list. There was 2 injuries, and I was hoping that they would do right by them, but they added 2 pitchers to the All-Star roster for the NL because of injury, rather than 2 deserving All-Stars.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's just not sexy seeing a 248 average. I mean, But I mean, then again, Ellie De La Cruz was there. I mean, he does have like 70 stolen bases already. I cap, but I don't know. It's the Mets. The Mets have it. I mean, Francisco Alvarez is, if not the best catcher in the league right now, so that's good to have. They were talking on a radio show. If Francisco Alvarez keeps this up, and let's say he wins a ring or he wins something, will he be a better remembered Met catcher than Mike Piazza?
Hey, Francisco Alvarez, I would love to see that happen. I would love
think
to
he
see that
can.
guy
I think
just
he can.
absolutely continue to mash. And I mean, he's so young. There's so much time left.
Yeah.
I think he can if he stays on the team his whole career.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, so Mets grade, you give them a B. Do you have any mock grades you're looking at for the Mets? Anything you're interested in? Anything you want to add?
Yeah, bullpen.
Okay. Any
Get me
names?
get me anybody for the bullpen. Doesn't matter. Just bolster the
name?
bullpen. No, I don't have. I mean, like Mason Miller would be fantastic, but that would cost half the farm. Not going to happen.
That would
Just
cost anyone's farm.
like any reinforcements to help, the efforts with pitching. Even starters, like we need to go after starters in my opinion too, because like you said, some of these guys are just, 8 starts so far and like a 5 ERA for Tyler McGill. Yeah, it's not going to cut it. Down the stretch. Christian Scott's a rookie. You have to give him some leeway. He's got some dirty stuff though. David Peterson's been pretty good, but really that back half of the rotation needs some attention as well. Kodai Senga hopefully coming back would be like a 1, getting a 1 as a rental, but obviously he's signed. Yeah, I don't know. I think pitching's a glaring need. Probably use another bat. You could always use another bat at the deadline, but I mean, this is a lot of moves for, a farm system that I'm kind of high on. I think there's a lot of good players coming through, and I think, making their MLB debuts on the Mets rather than another team would be my preference. So that's why I don't want to go too all in on this at the deadline. Kind of want to see what happens. You have to temper the expectations because, we're a middle of the road team.
I like you becoming a prospect hugger. It's fun, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I'm high on a handful of these prospects, and, did we pay for them? Yes. Did it cost us, Scherzer, Verlander, and maybe a little bit of reputation in the league with, getting rid of the big guns that we sign in the offseason? Yeah, that kind of hurts, right? Maybe that cost us Yamamoto and Ohtani because they didn't want to, have that type of situation happen again. I don't know. But yeah, no, I think the minors for the Mets are very exciting right now.
Yeah, I agree. And best of luck to the Mets the rest of the year. We will, we'll have a lot more deadline talk as it starts to heat up. But as we remember last year, I think the deadline talk didn't start heating up until like the last 2 days. It was just a slow moving deadline. I think it's going to be a similar situation this year as there's a lot more buyers than there will be sellers. But we'll see. We'll be here to cover it. But Nick, I hope you had enough time. We just took about 20 minutes to talk about the Mets. So I'm sure you have tons of information on the Cardinals to talk about right now. So I'm going to let you take it away. Take your time. Enjoy it. Let us know about your team. Talk some shit. Let's what's going on here, man? What's going on in St. Louis? And he's muted.
Oh, yeah.
Not
This
even
guy's on mute.
Sorry,
All right.
Not even prepared.
Cardinals. The Cardinals finished the first half 50-46. Going off what Jimmy said about a letter grade, I would probably give the Cardinals a B as well. They went into this year, not knowing what was going to happen with their rotation. Yes, we got Sonny Gray, but we got a 35-year-old Lance Lynn. I would say a B is a great grade because the Cardinals starting rotation, all of them pretty much have a sub 4, and it's way better than having Wainwright, who was almost a 7 or an 8 last year. Like I said all the time, I love the Cardinals batting order. I think it's amazing how they have all these young talent like Mason Wynn, Alec Burleson, Nolan Gorman, Brendan Donovan. They're all doing what they're expected to do, batting, above 270, contributing, having a good WAR. But I think the Cardinals are one of the worst 500 teams in the league. They're the most up and down team. They finished the year going 10-9, and they didn't really have that tough opponents. and they just have like games where they'll win 3 and then lose 3, win 3, lose 3. It's it's a roller coaster to be a fan right now. They're currently second in the wild card. Jimmy talked about the Mets being a wild card team and they shouldn't chop it down. I think this year for the trade deadline, regardless of being in a playoff spot or not, I think the Cardinals should think about shopping Goldschmidt. He is having probably one of his worst years, hitting 230. A WAR is .06. I think the Cardinals can get at least something back and start thinking about a new first baseman for the future. I definitely think that the Cardinals can at least look for another starter. I mean, for what their bullpen has given us this year, we have about 5 solid guys, but they all pitched 40 innings already into the first half. So, I mean, you already know down the stretch they're gonna be tired and beat up. I mean, Ryan Helsley's our closer. He has 32 saves out of 50 wins, and the guy pitched 42 innings already. I mean, a closer pitches what, 1 inning a game? So he's almost pitched almost every single game this year. I mean, Cardinals definitely need some depth in the bullpen because outside of the 5 pitchers that are decent, everyone else has about a 6, 7, and 8 ERA. So it's like, how do you win games as a 500 team if you're not going to use your best bullpen pitchers every single day? But I mean, overall, I give the Cardinals a B.
Okay. Yeah.
Helsley has 32 saves? Holy shit.
32 out of 50.
He leads the league in
50
saves.
wins. 50 wins, and he saved it 32 times. I mean, he's definitely the main reason why the Cardinals have 50 wins. I mean, the offense is producing runs, but their pitching is just giving it right back. And luckily, when it comes to the 9th inning, we're winning and able to put him in. But I don't think he's gonna hold up for the whole rest of the year with how much he's been pitching.
How old is Ryan Helsley?
Ryan Helsley is
He's 30.
20,
He's young.
29 years old. Well, he turns 30 tomorrow. Happy birthday to him.
A rubber arm. That'd be all right.
Yeah, but I mean,
he's got more saves.
102.
Yeah. He's got more saves than Clase. Clase's having almost like a Cy Young caliber season.
Yeah, I mean, he's like I said, pretty much the main reason why the Cardinals are winning games. But I mean, in today's game, especially when you throw 102, how many times can you put him out there without giving him rest? So I definitely think the Cardinals need to find a way to, when they have a lead to start, not give it up in the late innings and not have to have him come out. So I think the biggest thing right now, I mean, if they want to stay as a playoff team, is definitely get the bullpen. I mean, I would say averaging 4 runs a game is pretty solid as a team. So I definitely think that pitching is the main concern over batting going into this trade deadline.
Okay. That was pretty good, man. Proud of you.
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
Okay.
Really good. All I have to really say about the Cardinals is Mason Wynn's a dog. Ryan Helsley's a dog. Brendan Donovan's still a dog. And Wilson Contreras has turned it around from last year. So Cardinals got a decent team. I think comparable to the Mets, whereas I don't know if I can compare it to the Mets though. I think the Cardinals have a better offense, in my opinion. I think the Mets might have actually a better pitching staff right now, which is crazy to say because of the names I named for the Mets. But I think Cardinals better offense, Mets better pitching staff, and I think that's just the difference between the two of you guys.
I mean, would you agree with that shopping Goldschmidt now?
I mean, you're not going to get
in the situation they are, or do we just let him rock?
Let him rock. What are you going to get for him?
I don't know, but I mean, as a playoff team, I wouldn't want to keep sending out a 230 batter.
I mean, it's Goldschmidt though. I don't think they shop him at all. I think unless he was having like a good year, I don't think his name is even on the block. I don't think teams are even interested. I think that he's just going to rock it out. I think Goldschmidt is definitely declining, but I just don't see much value there. Like, who wants to trade for a guy who's hitting 230 with 13 bombs and a 660 OPS at 36 years old? I mean, what he doesn't add much value to a team. Maybe a backup DH. I don't know. I just don't think he adds much value. Honestly,
I mean, I agree. I just, I'm one of the big fans of where, And he's been great his whole career, but I'm not the type of person that's just going to keep sending out the same guy when he's not really producing anything, especially when a team's trying to win.
Yeah, but you don't make trades based on what a guy did a year ago or
No,
multiple years ago.
I agree, but I mean, what are we going to do? Sit him?
I mean, when does his contract end?
I don't know that. I'm
That's what
assuming it's
happens with
this
most
year, or next
players.
year.
They start declining and they become bench players. They become DHs or backup position players. That's what happened to Pujols. That's what happens, man. I don't think anyone's going to take him on with that contract with what he's doing right now.
So his contract ends this year.
Yeah. No one's paying for a 1-year rental Paul Goldschmidt.
How is it 1 year?
You said his contract ends this year.
It ends at the end of the season.
A half year rental of Paul Goldschmidt. No one's paying for that.
I mean, yeah, just asking for an opinion, brother.
No.
It's hang it up time.
Yeah. I think he probably has maybe 1 or 2 seasons left in him, but that's about it.
I think maybe it's time where you just shift him over to DH and let him, I guess, kind of do like a 3. Like he does 3/4 of the year. Matt Carpenter does whenever a righty's up, and let's start shopping for a first baseman.
Yeah. You should, man. Got to get yourself a new 1B, you know?
Yeah, I mean, outside of him, I enjoy the lineup a lot. With the names you said: Donovan, Arenado, Wynn, Burleson, Gorman, Contreras. I think the Cardinals lineup is pretty solid. I mean, no superstars, but sometimes you don't need superstars. You just need 9 batters that are consistent.
Nick, I got a question for you.
I'll think about.
Yeah, you better think about this. Pretty good. So, is Paul Goldschmidt, if his career were to end this year, is Paul Goldschmidt a Hall of Famer?
I don't know everything about him, so hold on one
let
second.
me give you some stats. I'll educate you, brother.
Off my head, I would say yes.
Educate you. So 62.2 career WAR. He'll have 2,000 hits by the time he retires. 350 home runs. He has 289 lifetime batting average. 895 lifetime OPS. 140 OPS plus. He got his MVP. He's got multiple Gold Glove and Silver Sluggers. He's got multiple top 20 MVP finishes. He's won one, like I said, and he has 2 second place ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-time All-Star.
I say yes, and I'm going to ask you a counter question. Would you, if Freddie Freeman's career ended today, this year, would you say he's a Hall of Famer?
Oh, well, we'll talk about him after we're done with Goldschmidt. Yeah. What do we think, John? What do we think about Goldschmidt?
If you say Freeman should be a Hall of Famer, I say Goldschmidt should be a Hall of Famer.
I don't think he's first ballot.
What was that?
I think he's a Hall of Famer. I don't think he's first ballot.
Yeah, no, I mean we're talking when we say are they a Hall of Famer, we're saying over the course of the voting process, which could take multiple years. Yeah,
he's going to be a Hall of Famer. I think so.
Goldschmidt, yes, okay.
Yeah,
I agree. I think Goldschmidt, fantastic player.
And Nick, yes, Freddie Freeman is going to be a Hall of Famer.
Well, I was just saying because if you think he is, then I definitely think Goldschmidt is. Because Freddie Freeman's.
I don't think Goldschmidt.
Freddie Freeman's better, but it's not by like a long shot. I mean, it's not far off.
It's far off, I guess, but I don't know.
It's not.
I'm taking Freddie Freeman over Paul Goldschmidt every year of his career.
Yeah, I mean, I just think they're the best 2 comparison players right now for first baseman.
Definitely the best 2 first basemen of our generation. Yeah, close to our generation. I would say definitely 2 of the best first basemen. All right. I can't name anyone who was as consistent as these 2 for their whole career, because these 2 have been super consistent. Both have an MVP, both hitting close to 300 lifetime, both have a 140 OPS plus, both hit around 340 home runs, both have 60 career WAR. Very consistent players. Very good. To have a first baseman like that, that's great.
Freddie Freeman's a doubles machine.
Yeah.
This guy has almost 500 doubles. Damn.
Dude's a dog.
A little fun fact for the listeners. Dude's a dog.
Is it my turn?
Think it's time to hear about
Floor
the
is
shitty
yours.
Yankees.
Shitty Yankees. So you know what's funny about that? We talk about shitty Yankees. Yes, they've been through a super rough patch. Super rough patch. Like they have looked at times like the worst team in Major League Baseball. They still have the fourth best record in the league. They still are one game out of first place in the AL East. And guess what? Guess what? The Yankees aren't out of it. Yeah, they're going through a rough patch. Yeah, the team looks like complete dog water. But you know what? It's fine. It's going to be okay, Yankees fans. Yankees fans are so like reactive, man. So reactive. Like, yes, we had a really terrible month. The worst month in the league. But this is why you stack wins. We're 58-40. We're one game out of first place in the AL East. That's obtainable. It's not like we're 5 games. It's 1. Uno. Okay? Let's get into some of the guys. Judge, superstar. Soto, superstar. We don't need to worry about those guys. They're good. They're locked in. I do want to talk about someone I've gassed up for the past 2 years since he came into the league. And I think you guys are gonna love that I'm saying this, but I think the jury might finally be out on him. And his name's Anthony Volpe. Now, over years of progression, you want to see a guy improve. You want to see a guy get better. Anthony Volpe, yes, he's a good fielder. He has a good D-WAR, but his hitting it's just not there. He's not hitting like Gunnar Henderson. He's not hitting like Bobby Witt Jr. If we had either of those guys on the Yankees would be fucking unbelievable. But we don't. We have Judge, Soto, and other guys contribute here and there. Volpe is scaring me. He's not the guy who I thought he was. He's hitting 245 in the past month. He's at a 160 batting average. He only has 6 home runs, and he has a 6.6 OPS, which is never like to say that number, but that's his OPS. Funny enough, that was his OPS at the end of the year last year. Yeah. More and more as the season goes on, Volpe is more of a liability than he is someone I want to be the savior of the New York Yankees. He's not the next Derek Jeter. He's definitely not going to be Bobby Witt Jr. or Gunnar Henderson. That's what it is. And unfortunately, this is what we have with Volpe. I mean, he's a good defender. Maybe he'll hit 250 a year and 20 bombs, but I think that's the most we're going to get out of him. Ben Rice, he's pretty solid. Good call up. Dude rakes. Batting average isn't really there, so if you guys want to bring that up, you can, but he hits some big spots. He's been a good jolt to the lineup. But besides that, if there was a ground ball derby, DJ LeMahieu would be in there.
Yo, remember? I got a question. Remember when you compared Volpe and Verdugo to Nimmo and Lindor and looked me straight in the face and said, these 2 players are better than your 2 players? You remember that?
Yeah. That was, we were, whatever.
That was when
Are you
Volpe was
eating? Are you
hitting
eating?
300.
Are you eating your hat on that yet? Because I haven't brought it back until now, and I think it's a perfect time to bring it back. Because Dugo trash, Volpe trash.
Yes, I'm eating my words, but let me continue.
Go ahead.
Pitching staff obviously wasn't going to keep up the streak they're on. They're still pitching well. I mean, Stroman's pitching well. Cortez pitching well. Heel's still pitching good. I mean, he's not pitching like the guy he was in the beginning of the year, but he's still decent year. Rodon sucks cock. Probably a terrible signing by Stroman. Cashman, Steinbrenner, whoever. Garrett Cole had a rough first start, and then he did well against the Orioles in his last start. I have no complaints with the bullpen. Clay Holmes is the scariest closer to put out there. I don't trust him. So yeah, I would give the Yankees first half a B+. Solely on the purpose of they still have 58 wins. They're one game out of first place, and the Orioles are one of the best teams in the league. As far as trade targets, I think they need to do a package deal. Just fucking ship the farm at this point. It's win or done. Because at this point, you're not keeping Soto if you don't win. Sorry. I think we trade, hopefully, in a package deal, Tanner Scott and Jazz Chisholm Jr. Jazz Chisholm comes over to play second base or outfield because he's very versatile. And Tanner Scott becomes our new setup closer, hopefully. I don't care what prospects it costs. Spencer Jones, see ya. I don't care anymore. I'm not a prospect hugger. We need to fucking win. It's been 15 years. Fuck the prospects. You seen how fucking Clint Frazier worked out. I was hugging his balls. You see how Gary Sanchez worked out. I was hugging his balls. Fucking ship him off. Who cares? Who cares?
Can't forget that you're hugging Volpe's balls.
I was hugging Volpe's balls at one point. Like, fuck it. You need to make these moves. Jazz Chisholm changes his team. Not only at the plate, I'm not saying he's like elite hitter, but he changes at the plate. He's a good player on the base path. He's a very good defender. And then Tanner Scott's a dog this year. So he's a lefty, and we need lefty bad. He was an all-star. That's what I want the Yankees to do. And that's it. Just fucking sell the farm. Go after, I don't care, Garrett Crochet. He's a dog. Ship the fucking farm, Cashman, please. I want to see a ring. I don't know how much longer I have left on this earth. Tomorrow could be my last day. Just fucking do it, okay? I'm done. Because
when you're there, you need to add. You can't break it down. You guys were mocking me the first 20 minutes.
I'm just at this point, dude, where it's like, fuck it. Like, we're always worried about prospects. I'm always like, don't trade this guy. I can't fucking trade this guy. Do it. Fucking do it. I don't care. Just do it. Get rid of them. Who cares? You get more prospects. Prospects can't help you win a World Series. Maybe in 5 years. But who knows if you'll be there. Do it. Cashman, please. For all the Yankee fans out there, bring home a chip to New York. Because I know we're going to go into the football year, and we're going to transition to football now. And the Dolphins are going to start out so hot. They're going to look like the best fucking team on earth. Who is going to get into cold weather? And Tua is going to blow the fucking game. All the time. Because Tua can't play in the cold. And like, it's just insane, man. Every team, every year, it's hopes up and down. Like, I know Mets fans, I know Jets fans, like you guys, but you guys just suck all the time. It's not like you're right there and you have the chance. It's like us, we're right there. You have the chance and you just don't go for it. You don't grab it by the balls. You just like, sugarcoat it a little bit. You lick it. I don't know, but
you lick
just
the balls.
Yeah, you don't like grab it. But it's just go for it, man. Like, fuck the prospects. Like, I'll pull up the top prospect, Jason Dominguez. Guess what? Don't trade.
See ya.
Don't trade.
Oh, okay.
Spencer Jones. See ya. Chase Hampton. See ya. Rogic Arias. Keep him. He's replacing Volpe. George Lombard. See ya. Will Warren. See ya. Like, just fucking see ya. That's it. See ya. I don't care. Trade the whole fucking thing. Go get Garrett Crochet, Jazz Chisholm, Tanner Scott, whoever else is available. I don't care. Mason Miller. You get Mason Miller, your 9th innings locked down. Any team get Mason.
I was going to say, you can get Mason Miller for those 4 people you said to see it too.
It's just go for it, man. That's all I got to say. Go for it. This is the year. It has to be the year, man. It has to be. But let's talk some football before I get all fired up a little more. Boys, I mean, fantasy football is about a month and a half away. It's creeping up. I don't know if you guys have been watching Hard Knocks, but it's a really cool insight in the Giants offseason, and you get a little more of the front office stuff. So it's really cool. Jimmy, have you been keeping up with that?
Of course I have.
Dude, the conversation in the past episode where he's like, I don't want to see Saquon go to the Eagles, bro. And then just knowing, like, yeah, Saquon's an Eagle. Like, it sucks. It's very interesting. For those who like football and front office stuff, I'd recommend watching this. This is probably my most favorite rendition of Hard Knocks. I'm a front office guy, so I don't like this. The whole training camp is like, this is cool. You get to see how free agency works, draft stuff. Like, that's all cool stuff. But let's talk a little football. Let's talk a little fantasy. We were doing some mock drafts when Jimmy was over this weekend. So it's a little interesting to see where guys go. And we had a conversation pop up in regards to some of the top receivers. So we're kind of talking about, where does JJ fall? Where does CD fall? Where does Jamar Chase fall? So what happened?
Amon-Ra was one of the big names as well.
Amon-Ra too. So out of the top 4 receivers, I would say those are top 4. Tyreek Hill, can't forget about him. Fuck. So out of those top 5 receivers, who is I think we were all in consensus that the 101 receiver would be CeeDee Lamb. I think we were all consensus on that. I think that's the surefire 101A to or 101B to Christian McCaffrey's 101A. Now, who would you guys put at that
Yeah.
team?
To me though, I think it depends on the league format. So CeeDee Lamb is definitely my 101 for full PPR leagues. Christian McCaffrey only becomes of interest at that pick when you talk about half PPR. But since we're in full PPR, to me, I think it's CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb is the absolute number one on a high-powered offense, which is continuously predicted to be year in and year out a top 5 offense in the league. He is a clear alpha. He commands all the targets in that offense. Dak continuously feeds his number one receiver. Like it's very clear that he is the best wide receiver with no competition on one of the best offenses. That's what makes him number one. He's in his prime. He's continuing to get better. And to me, it's CeeDee Lamb over everybody. That's the 101. CMC definitely has to go too because he's just such a difference maker at the running back position that you can't let him slide past that. And then after that, like you kind of tear down in wide receivers, in my opinion. When you start thinking about some of these wide receivers, they all have cons. Maybe except for one wide receiver, in my opinion. But everyone has cons. Ready?
More wide receiver you could pick.
I think you're missing two don't have. I would say Tyreek and Amon-Ra. Those are the two.
Tyreek's con. The only con for him is that Waddle's in that offense, right? So he's definitely the clear alpha number one. Will command the number one wide receiver target share, no problem. He has that other wide receiver to feed, and he's also getting older. Tua's, there's some question marks about Tua. That offense is supposed to be, again, top 5 in the league, so there's tons of pros. He's probably the second wide receiver. I'm just saying there's some cons to Tyreek. I think there's cons to Justin Jefferson with his quarterback situation. I think Jamar Chase, same thing as Tyreek with, having T. Higgins there in that offense as well. Joe Burrow coming off of injury, just trying to find himself, and then you're looking at Amon-Ra St. Brown. I think he's a top 3 wide receiver. I think he's ahead of JJ and Jamar Chase. That's my opinion.
Honestly, my top 3, if I had to do a top 3 right now, and I was sitting on the clock and CD goes, and I would say in this order, it should be CD, Amon-Ra, Tyreek. I think that should be the order. After that, JJ and Jamar, like those will probably be the top 7 picks in the draft. Like that's how it's going to go. Cause in today's fantasy football, if you have good receivers, you will win the league. Running backs, like you can find spot running backs week in and week out who can give you 10 to 12 points and you'll be good. But if you have 2 solid receivers who give you 15 to 20 points every week, you're set. Like, if you somehow end up getting let's say like a CeeDee Lamb and I don't know, maybe like a Garrett Wilson, because Garrett Wilson is, I would say, maybe a second or third round pick in a redraft PPR league. If you can get those 2 guys, I think you're set up very well. And it goes the same with like other wide receivers, like Tyreek Hill and like a freaking I'm really wondering how Justin Jefferson is going to fall here, man. Do people take him because of name?
You have to take him. Yeah, he's got to go top 7.
Yeah,
he's going to be one of those guys that falls to the middle of the draft. I think like a high middle.
I don't think so though.
Like a 4, 5, 6.
I think someone's going to see him at 104, 105, and their eyes are going to light up and be like,
just said that 4, 5, 6. Like a high middle of the draft. Right. There's only 10 teams, so 5 is right in the middle.
I could even see him going 103, dude. Honestly,
I don't get how you wouldn't take Tyreek or Amon-Ra at 103.
But you have to.
That's what I'm saying. So I don't see Justin Jefferson fall. I see Justin Jefferson falling to like 5.
I mean, Amon-Ra had a freaking torn oblique for 3 quarters of last season, still put up 1,500 yards.
Yeah, and Tyreek fucked up his ankle and still had 1,800 yards.
So, I mean, those guys, you have to take those guys. I understand the whole handicap Tyreek has with Waddle, but that offense is going to flash. You know that. Yep. So it's going to be interesting, man. It's going to be interesting. And I will make one note to all you fantasy redrafters out there. We are in Dynasty, but I think something people have to realize is if you have a good tight end, you'll win a lot of leagues. My past 2 years, I had Travis Kelce, I had Sam Laporta. And guess what? My past 2 years, I won the league. Tight ends win you leagues, boys. Remember that. Tight ends win you leagues. That's all I got. Tight ends win you leagues, baby.
I don't know. I mean, when you're talking about Kelsey in his prime, like, yeah, that won you tons of leagues, I'm sure, from like 18 to 22. But when, like, I don't know. I think you can get value later in the draft there. I don't know. Like, I don't want to spend a third, fourth round pick on a tight end. I think that's absurd. I think even looking at quarterback this year, in the third, fourth round is even absurd.
No.
Like, let Hurts get off the board. Let Pat Mahomes get off the board. You know how much value you can get at quarterback 10? You know who quarterback 10 probably is? Justin Herbert.
Justin Herbert's like quarterback 15.
There you go.
He's probably like 10.
I'd happily take Purdy in the 10th round. After everyone else has a quarterback, I'll give me Purdy.
I will happily take fucking Justin Herbert in the 12th round. Like if he falls, I'm taking quarterback late this year. Fuck Josh Allen, fuck Dak Prescott, fuck Jalen Hurts. Like, give me the best value I can find at my pick. I'm not reaching for a quarterback. That to me, it's dumb unless you have Josh Allen. But who even knows how Josh Allen's gonna be? He has no good. Who's his receivers? Who's Kean Coleman? Who even knows what he is? Khalil Shakir, Dalton Kincaid. I mean, stop with the top quarterbacks. Pat Mahomes is not a second round pick. He's not. He's not worth it.
He's not a top 20 player.
I hate people who take Pat Mahomes in the second round just because he's Pat Mahomes, man. Don't do it to yourself. Trust us. We aren't the smartest fantasy guys, but we know fantasy enough to where we can help you win a league. And that's all for tonight, guys. We're going to sign off. We'll catch you next week. Great to be back. We enjoy speaking to you guys. You know, we'll be back next week. We'll see you then. All right. Peace out. See you later. Bye.